This chapter has given us what we needed. It was necessary for those who had a problem with the power scaling. If you are a fan of this series, please give it time to cook. Most things that don't make sense now will be addressed later. It is an ongoing series after all, and it will be boring if they address every new development in detail at the moment it is introduced. Well, with that out of the way, let's get into the review. The chapter starts where the last one ended, with Himawari tapping into Kurama's power and Inojin being penetrated by Jura's wood release. Jura is sure that Himawari is using the Ninetales chakra, but something confuses him about this whole situation. Shigedai is shocked to see Himawari's leg healed. At the same time, Himawari walks towards Inojin, transfer her healing properties to him, and his wound gets healed. She did that by transferring chakra to him, as he's shown with chakra cloak that covers half of his body. As to why she's able to achieve such feat, it is revealed at the later part of the chapter. Himawari then asks Shigedai and Chocho to take Inojin to the hospital because she's not sure he's completely healed. It makes sense as to why she would want him checked, because she's not a medical ninja and she just unlocked this power. She's still learning about it. Shigedai asks her what that power is, and she says she's not sure either, but it must be what Jura is interested in. She tells them to leave right away. Jura won't stop them since he's only after her, and they should be safe as long as they don't try to interfere. Shigedai agrees as he comes to a conclusion that they'll just be in the way, especially with Inojin out of commission. As a reminder, the greatest strength of Inoshikacho is their teamwork. When one of them is not around, their chances of winning is greatly reduced. Chocho tries to argue that Shigedai stops her and tells her to calm down and think about it. They'll have little chance of winning, so they've got to minimize their losses, and that's what Himawari is saying. Jura then compliments him for the wise decision and says, "I shall remember your name, let's meet again someday." Chocho refuses to let Himawari fight alone, but Himawari assures her that she will not die. She will be there with her when the new pancake house opens. However, for now she has to carry out the responsibility that comes with Kurama's power, because she feels that's what her father and brother will do too. Shigedai and Chocho finally leave. Himawari is left alone with Jura, and Jura says, "I know you are not complete idiots, which is why it's incomprehensible what it is that drastically lowers your judgment ability again and again. Jura's thirst for knowledge is what makes him dangerous. I feel like the more he learns, the more he improves on handling his power. But I think he can never understand the human nature or the human heart, and that will be his downfall." Himawari starts her fight with Jura by landing 2 heavy punches on Jura that sends him flying, crashing through multiple mountains. But because of Jura's insane healing ability, he comes out of that attack looking unharmed and unfazed. He flies up and tries to go headfirst towards Himawari, but stops as soon as he sees Himawari creating a Biju bomb, and he creates his own Biju bomb. They both shoot their Biju bomb and they crash, creating a huge explosion. What I like about their Biju bomb is that they are small and fast to create, and still as destructive as the Biju bombs we know. Jura lands in front of Himawari, expressing his surprise that not only does Himawari possess a Biju power, but she can also control a Biju bomb. He continues to say, "Even given the Ninetales power as a prerequisite, I am extremely curious about how you managed to undergo such rapid advancement." What he's basically saying is that even though it's the Ninetales power that she's using, it still requires time and training to master. So her improvements in such a short time isn't something an ordinary human can do. Jura continues to say, "Even more so," but doesn't finish his sentence as he headbutts her and sends her flying. She manages to land safely on the ground, but before she can figure out Jura's location, he lands a kick on her back with such force that the ground that Himawari is standing on shatters. Jura claims it is his first time he's decided to release a little bit of his power, and Himawari has made him want to test his true power. For someone as strong as Jura to say something like this, it speaks volume about Himawari's power. She has insane potential. She tanked a kick that was stronger than the one that knocked out Kawaki, and still manages to get back up. The chapter changes scenes to Hidari vs Sarada and Konohamaru's team. Hidari is still down, and Sarada tells him she will ease his suffering if he cooperates because his wound is fatal. But Hidari says nothing. He disappears into the claw marks, and when he reappears, his wound is healed, which surprises Sarada and company. I think Hidari can heal himself. He doesn't have regenerative powers. I know it doesn't make sense for now, but think about what he just did. It wasn't necessary for him to go into the claw marks and appear again unless it was to connect with the 10 tails in order to heal his wound using the 10 tails regenerative powers. If I'm correct about this, then Sarada can take him on one-on-one and manage to win. Hidari talks to Sarada about the Sharingan and that he isn't able to master the Chidori because it requires the Sharingan. Konohamaru, on the other hand, ignores all that and asks who Hidari is or what his connection to Sasuke is. And Hidari's response makes Sumire put two and two together. Hidari says, I don't know who that is. I'm trying to figure out who I am. That's why I came to Konoha. At that moment, Sumire figures out why Hidari is in Konoha as she asks Konohamaru to protect Sarada because Hidari's target is Sarada. I personally think Sumire is the smartest character in Boruto's generation. It is impressive how he came to this conclusion with so little information about Hidari, although her revealing information at that moment has caused a little war in the fandom because of what happened next. Hidari creates another claw marks behind Sarada and sneak attack her with lightning release. One of the Jonin tried to attack Hidari with a style, but Hidari hits him with fire release jutsu. Hidari is just too fast, and his use of the claw marks is something else, something they should think about moving forward. Sumire holds Sarada to stop her from falling face first, while Konohamaru attacks Hidari with Rasengan, but Hidari easily dodges it and counters with a Chidori. That's when Konohamaru introduces a new Rasengan called the Wind-Style Rasen Barricade. It's almost similar to Shojoji's jutsu that he used against Boruto. If Kishimoto decides to kill anyone, I hope he starts with Ninchi. That dude is useless, man. Like, he's watching Hidari go after Sarada and Sumire from behind and he does nothing but swallows saliva for the entire chapter. Hidari also attacks Sumire with lightning release and she falls into the ground. It's unclear if she's unconscious or not because Sarada opens her eyes and says, I can't move my body, which might be the same thing happening to Sumire. We cut back to Jura versus Himawari, and oh boy, Jura is showing no mercy. He's punching and firing, I don't know what to call that, but it looks like the chakra that usually forms when he creates a Biju bomb, but he's firing it like chakra rods and it tears Himawari's shirt, piercing through her ribs and the side of her stomach. But her healing abilities are just as impressive. Even Jura is impressed by it, and as he says, her healing power is far beyond human or Jinchuriki level. It is something almost like what the Biju possess, but she is quite getting weak. It's only natural. No matter how much she heals her injuries, she can't escape the corresponding chakra expenditure. Even Kurama admits that they are completely outmatched. Jura isn't someone they can take on solely with Himawari's high potential. Change of scene to Kawaki and Delta, who are on their way to Himawari, and Delta asks Kawaki what can he do against someone who's already beat the crap out of him. Boruto passes between them while they are still talking, and he's so fast that they had to represent him with speed lines. He quickly arrives at Himawari and grabs her before Jura can do anything. At the other fight, Hidari has pinned down Sarada and tells her he has no idea who he is, but somehow the only thing he knew from the get-go is Uchiha Sarada. He asks her who she is and what can he gain by eating her. One of Boruto's toads arrives at the scene carrying a square symbol, and Boruto gets confirmation. Then he uses the flying Raijin jutsu to get there. When he arrives, he straight out cuts Hidari's hand while still carrying Himawari. Sasuke was quite right about this boy. He can't be stopped. Hidari can't move carelessly around Boruto. On the final page, we have Jura who's annoyed about Boruto's flying Raijin, and Hidari calls him Otsutsuki Boruto. That's where the chapter ends, and I don't think there will be much fighting in the next chapter. Jura wants to test out his true power, and to him, Himawari seems to be the person that can make him do that. So since Himawari is out of commission, he will call for a retreat.